Every day, thousands of drivers deal with their lives, making calls, losing some get away with it, some. That's why police forces are stepping up their efforts, using buses like this to catch distracted drivers in. If the thought of getting a fine, losing your license doesn't scare you, his story will.
My mum was like really small, but like this really me up by herself pretty much from really young. So there's I had the you really loud. For everyone, it just as soon as you hear it, they know it was her. But she was also like, and she'd do anything for anyone. My dad, I call him my dad. He was, but he was actually sort of killed when I was completely opposite of mum, which was really weird. He's like 6 foot, big guy, sort of, but quite quiet, really big, thin accent. He was born in the northeast, moved down to, so he was sort of that guy, kind of. I've used this word like before, but he kind of gave me the word sort of me. Load of good life lessons. Like, it doesn't matter what you do in life, just be the best that you can be at it. And he was like, nobody join the mill, you or whatever, as long as you are the you can be.
Everything happened too fast. Everybody pulled the brakes super fast.
10 p.m. A tragic collision occurred on the A1 motorway. V driver or not, distracted by failed to see slowing traffic. His lorry, traveling 8 miles per hour, plowed into multiple vehicles, killing. Among the victims whose lives were taken in a crash that shouldn't have happened. This wasn't an act, it was a. In a world full of distractions, it can be incredibly. Watch the rest of this video and find out the current rules for using while driving.
The use of phones or distraction within the car is one of the 5 main reasons why people or seriously on this. Now today you will see behind me a big and what we're going to be doing today is taking that out onto the streets. We've got officers on the bus and we're looking specifically for or distraction offences.
Now you can join us in today's video to see a unique behind the scenes as to how we are combating mobile phone use, as after all 5 people on our roads every single day due to just that.
This is probably the 4th or 5th time I think it's run now. We're going to be putting sort of.
I wanted to see for myself what really happens inside that, because let's be honest, most drivers think they can get away with using them behind them, but the reality? Police forces across the country are running these operations every single day, using us to catch distractors in the act. Inside the unmarked, 7 to 8 are working together, constantly scanning the road below. They have the perfect point, looking directly down into to catch in the act. They're not working alone. Every is in with marked and ours waiting further down the road. The moment they spot an offence, they relay the details instantly.
He's currently not stopping for us.
Do you want me to come down and
He's stopping now. I've got. I might wipe him as well. Yeah, if you're happy to take him into custody and whatever. If you weren't using, you made the choice to use your. Whilst you were using your, and you were looking down, you weren't looking where you were going. If a little had run out in front of you, you'd hit them. We are here today to deal with stuff like and reasons why people don't make it home. 5 people a day on the roads, far more than knife crime, and we have to deal because I don't want to knock on any more doors to say he's not coming home. It took him a while to stop for us, whether that was because he was distracted, came back, breath test came, but he was issued an offence report for using a mobile phone whilst he was driving. So that will go to the section and they will deal with it from there.
If you help support, Owen and I have made a merch line, and this will help us with not only us helping make new videos, but also direct us for fame. And as you can see right here, this is a book strip, and the one that I'm wearing is all about to driving. Give them a little insight as to why we set.
We set the same as we did with the rest of the channel. It's to say, and it's to sung drive. That's why I don't make any out of this at all, and the money that would have potentially been coming to me, going, and that's the point in it. And we're giving money. Any other money goes back in, and it gets more of our stuff out there, and hopefully, therefore, save more lives. So we would really, really love for you to get involved with this. Not all of them have got the designs on the back. Some are plain. So if you don't want the big designs, you can have like the plain. But please support us with this. let's say lives on the road.
Now, while a couple of our designs are green, we have a unique code that you guys can use, and yen wide. Check it out. Let us know in the comments what you choose, and we'll see you in the next scene. So it turns out it wasn't Jones that Owen's team dealt with on that day.
No, we dealt with many offences. We recovered one stolen head. We had 4 offences, 3 drivers with no insurance, 1 driving otherwise in accordance with a licence, 1 arrest for Section 5A, 1 possession of controls, and what we often find is what we call the snowball, and that is that is happy to commit one offence will quite often commit other offences as well. And one of the drivers that we're about to show you, he was stopped for being alone, but when we dug deeper into it, we find that he's got no insurance, he's driving otherwise in accordance with the licence, he tested positive, and he was also in public substance. What we got with this one? Which one? The mid, right?
It's got no insurance. He's not insured to drive the vehicle. He's not got a full license.
So he was on.
He's on the phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to get pounded.
Yeah.
He's also said this last night as well. So just a drug swiping on that, which I imagine.
We'll see. So this is the drive that we've just used on the driver of our. If you can see there, it's quite fit. It is coming through. You can see the glide is and then there's a faint line on the test line. That is getting more prominent as time goes on, but it just does it. There is in the driver's system, so now he'll get taken back and they'll see exactly how much cannabis he has in his body, and then we'll take it from there.
Now, finding to use phone in a controlled environment is obviously very out of normality. However, I'm using a driving sim, and we're going to show you that it really does make a difference using a phone while driving. Now, not only is my hand off, I'm now not able to do things properly. I'm loose, and hopefully
I'm forced to set 2 lap times on, I think it's course here.
Yep.
And we're going to take the average of those, so we've got a time for his 2 laps. Then what we're going to do is we're going to
my driving, which wasn't good enough, is of course much worse trying to use my phone.
Now, obviously, we can't demonstrate this on the road, so we've come to X Race Centre where we've sorted it up onto it so that we can do this sort of environment. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 more laps, and then I'm going to continue to text him while he's doing it, and he's got to reply to my text as well. So it will kind of how much of him he can still put to racing around the track whilst he's trying to text me at the same time. So let's see how he gets on. We'll just set his lap times now, so now I'm going to sit him and see how he gets on, trying to reply to him as well. I'm not fast as a texters though.
Right, so I set it without my phone. This is so hard.
Okay, so he has.
Oh God! What? I'm trying to.
He's doing that well, does he?
What's going on?
Crash straight into.
It's actually not working. Look, there we go.
What's he? He's not very good at it.
Oh,
You've stopped him.
yeah.
I think this kind of proves my point a little bit, doesn't it? It's
like me with the phone. I guess they think they're good at it, aren't they? Yes. Over a car as well. God knows how people would do this if they drove an automatic.
If we take it as, let's say, George is on the motorway speed limit is a mile an hour, so let's say George is 70 mile an hour. So for every second that he travels, he's travelling around 80 metres. So every time he looks down at his phone, for every second he's looking at his phone, he's travelling 80 metres without looking what's going on. So, you know, your average time to look down at the sex has got to be, 5 seconds? And over that time, with looking at any of that going on around you, anything that is in front of you, and that's why we get situations like what happened.
I have now learned how many times I came off the track off the back of being distracted by my phone. And they did actually say by looking at all the data that I was when I was distracted because I had a win messaging me. Now they have very kindly said, but firstly, big up anyone that uses the link in the description section below when you place a come here for your scam. So let's get moving. Now it's one thing having the telling us we can't use phone when having a car, but we all know there are circles in which you actually can use it. So talk to what are rules when it comes to getting away with using your phone in your car.
So the basic way to look at it is it's a hand use whilst it's in, and so the thing that you do with it whilst it's in your hand is so that's even the screen or anything like that. You don't actually have to be just unlocking the screen is enough to be committing that. So if you do absolutely need it for have or anything, you can have it in that and you can use it for that. What I'd say is if you're going to touch the phone or use it for anything,
other than just be sort of listening to then pull over and then you can go into the use of the, change where you're going to or anything like that you need to do with it. Do it whilst you are actually moving. So that's the main thing of it, is do not use it in your hand at any time, because obviously it carries that 6 points as well, which is quite a big price to pay. So if you don't need it at all and you're not using it for anything, get rid of it, get it out of temptation so that you're not using it at all. Now, I'm going to some comments here about some of the kit that we have in the car as well. And, the use of the phone is one side of the offence, but you've also got not being in protocol. So if you're looking down in your, and you're not looking where that's not because it is in the holder, but it could be not being in proper control of the vehicle, or a due care offence because you're not looking where all the kit inside the car is also typed, so it has to go through that type approval for us to be able to use it in the vehicle. And there are differences for when we're moving and when we are obviously. And things like, we've got the radio here, but then we've got the here that we can use. So when which makes it a lot easier, and we're not up here. Into the con when we're in, we have to log in either single or double. So if I'm on my own, I'm actually in the vehicle. It then opens up the rest of the system. If I'm double crewed, so I've got it with me, we can then click double crewed, so it can then add all the things that are on here, and we can do things while we're on the move. But for me, single crewed, it's in crewed mode, which means I can only access certain parts of it, like here, the board, so that if I need to put slow down or follow me or anything on the matrix board, I can do that, because we're dealing with them and we need to be able to use those. Otherwise, we've got the speed equipment here, and it's really easy just to press which button you want, and then turning lights on and things like that. Again, it's just the press of a button there. So all our kit inside of here is to use and doesn't affect our view of them or anything else that would.
Now, we all know that it's a very bad idea, but we get loads of questions, similar videos, asking us the legal way to take advantage of all this without getting destroyed in your car. Now, this is, and combined with a self-adhesive bit of metal on the back of the case that you can fit to all, see right there, it sticks with ease. And combined with on any car, I can now make them not only safe, but secure, meaning I don't need to touch it while driving. But I know that a lot of you are thinking there are a lot of different windscreen mounts that actually go on the wind, and I've used them in the past, but it turns out they're not a very good idea, because they can, in fact, get in the way, mean that you could actually miss one when it's, but combined with saying that that's the safest way to use it, I would argue that you get a unit. Now, big shout out here for supporting us on this video, because it allows us to actually get our message out, and your message can get through to you guys. This is something that you should use in your car, because it allows you, and legally. Now, that's the important thing. Not only are these accessible, but they're also, and I've had them in all my cars ever since I started tinkering with them. So, firstly, big shout out to Pioneer for supporting, but we've got a lot more to do. But before we do so, is something that I know you're all thinking about: payment systems in police cars. They actually comply with specific legislation, so that's what we're allowed to do just that. But let's get on with the rest of the video. Here have very generously given us a Play unit to give away to you guys for supporting us on that. So to anyone that purchases some merch using code will receive a free Play unit. So make sure.
Yes, you got
They give me a little bit. They said that everything at that stage. They said that a lot had went into back of their vehicle, into the back of their vehicle, and they were killed. I think that was all that I was told at the time. They said that they hadn't been able to formalize the nature and the impact the vehicle with. It went straight over, completely crushing it, but igniting it in a. I think when it did that, it's sort of the phrase that they used, it sort of destroyed these people. Matter. So all of the matter inside was mixed with each other or completely destroyed. They identify them straight away. One of the ways that they ultimately found out was their dog was in the car at the time, and the window was open, I think, fog, and when obviously the vehicle impacted, it was thrown onto the carriageway, and they were able to scan the microchip and work out that
The crash was caused by a driver using a mobile phone.
I think there was a message from I mean, I'm not naive to think that people don't use phones when they're driving. In fact, I've probably done it myself before, where driving along and the roads are really quiet. And I think what I was surprised at is when I found out what he was doing. I've said it before, but I don't envisage that he's went out there to hurt anybody or cause it. He's probably just made that unconscious choice, or might have just choice in this case, to pick up his and start doing whatever he did. But yeah, I think I was in when I found out what he was, more than the fact that he was on. Really, just because people don't think it's good to them, people don't understand it. And I think you just nervous to it. You just, like I said, you don't think it's, yeah.